Hello and welcome to today's unboxing video, and today we have another Infinity, and I believe the first one of its kind on YouTube from my looks. This is the Aleph Steel Phalanx 300 point pack, and like I said, I think this is a YouTube first. So it's got a nice shiny reflective box, and on the back I'm not sure how well this will show up on the camera because of the light and stuff, but you've got a breakdown of everything you've got in here with an image, as well as just a description telling you what each thing is. Little symbols of all the fuss in faction, and then on this side of the box we've got what each model is side by side of a picture. So let's get in here. So this is a complete 300 point force that Corvus Belli has released, and I believe it's got a list in it. If you're interested in Aleph at all, this is probably one of the best bets you've got to start with. Or at the if you're interested in Steel Phalanx anyway. So inside we open up, and the first thing we see is this little booklet with a description in English and Spanish of what the Steel Phalanx actually is, where it was created by Aleph as a response to the combined army on Paradiso. And it's just got a little breakdown of how it's made from old Greek heroes. Inside we've got a list that can be made with this force, as well as a nice picture of a Myrmidon there. So let's have a quick look at how Corvus Belli has built this list. So we've got Ajax, Phoenix as the LT, Myrmidons with Spitfires, chain rifles, combi rifles. We got Penfelicia, sorry if I've said that wrong there. She's pretty standard because I think there's only one profile for her anyway. Myrmidon officer with a boarding shotgun. Myrmidon with a boarding shotgun. Myrmidon with chain rifle, and again a marksman. It doesn't tell you how they'll run the fire teams in this, but I'm sure that's something that can be figured out for trial and error. And then there's an expanded army list with what they recommend you build out from with this. Interestingly, it doesn't use... Alright, it uses all the Myrmidons you get in this box, but none of the special characters. That's interesting. Especially considering that Aleph is known, especially Steel Phalanx, for special characters. And then the breakdown of what you need to buy. So you've got this force, and then what you need to buy to do the expanded list. And then just some breakdowns. And I think on the back, yeah, is then just the standard catalogue stuff of look what you can buy from us. Let's just do a quick pan over that. And then on to the models themselves. So this is compartmentalized. It looks like it was... No, I'll keep the white background. It looks like they were supposed to be broken down into their individual units here, but well, box shaking in the mail, etc. Got it all jumbled up. So to start with, let's have a look who this guy is. I think this is the Spitfire Myrmidon. So let's have a look at what we have in here. So we'll start with the main body. If we can get some focus going. Any minute now. It's refusing to focus for me. Anyway, so we got the Myrmidon. It looks like a nice clear, crisp sculpt here. Very little cleanup again. Here's plain arm. There. And then the Spitfire. Here. Okay, so put that to the side again. Then this looks like the first pack of Penfelicia, or however you say her name. So it's the motorcycle. No pegs on the bike, so it will have to be a pin job, most likely. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's really any markings or tabs for it to glue on with. Still, nice sculpt. And half of her body. So I'll just have a quick route through this looking for the rest of her. Is this it? No. Ha. The wonders of postal deliveries, eh? Here we go, and here's the rest of her. Okay, so to start, let's have a look at her head. So the Amazon has got lovely flowing hair. See here, let's see if we can get some focus. And another clear, nice, freshly sculpted face by Corvus Belli. There's a sword arm for her monofilament close combat weapon. It's a very vicious and sharp looking thing as opposed to the swords. Her second leg. And her spare arm, which just rests on the side of the bike. As well as some... these are for the bike, they're the accelerators. So we'll just push that again to the side, just trying to keep everything in one place for each model. And then we'll look at the Myrmidons, because I think this is the Myrmidons, because it's a pack of 3 bodies. Okay, so it's the 4 bodies in one pack. They all look... There's 2 packs... Alright, there's 2 different types. So here's the first one. Nice clear sculpt again. Pistols, holstered, etc. There we go. And then the alternate leg, which is a step forward as opposed to a rest. Yeah. A nice, another clear, crisp sculpt. All these detail stuff, they'll take washes exceptionally well, I think. And then the weapon arms for the Myrmidons. Okay, so there's only 3 here, so there must be another pack somewhere. Yeah, with the head. So this is the weapon arm. So here's the chain rifle. I believe it's the chain rifle anyway. Yeah, it's the chain rifle looking at the box. Nice clear sculpt again. Very simple weapon design, but you know, it looks good. Then we've got what I believe is a boarding shotgun. Just looking at a quick look at the side. Yeah, it's snubbed end, so this is the boarding shotgun here. Little bit of flash to clean up. Not a huge amount of mold lines though, if at all. Just the arm to go with the boarding shotgun. And a close combat weapon, because as everyone who's ever played Infinity knows, Myrmidons are close combat experts. And then the final Myrmidon bag we're going to look at is heads and spare arms. So here's the Myrmidon heads. They look very inspired by Greek, which I believe is what they were going for anyway. So it's always good to know that you get things right, eh? Again, more clear sculpts here. They'll take washes exceptionally well. Another close combat weapon. Another set of heads. They look identical though. Well, I'll have to check. They might be for the different bodies. And then the combi rifle. Because it looks very similar to boarding shotgun, but it's got a muzzle on the end. There we go. And then it's 2 arms to go with the weapon options. So keep all of them separate. I think this is the Myrmidon. No, this is the Gamer Marksman, or however you also pronounce that. Okay, so let's have a look at the body to start. Nice head sculpt there. Backpack slots. Very rugged looking gear. His marksman's rifle is straight, which is always nice. They're normally a little bit bent, especially some of his finners. Oh, actually, just a tad bit bent, so we can bend that just a little bit there. Very high-tech looking sniper rifle, less beastly and bulky than the Pano ones, and then just the backpack here. Okay. On to the next one. So this is definitely... Oh, right, okay, this is Phoenix, the other character in this box. Okay, so here's Phoenix's body. Very Chuck Norris kind of hair. And look with a coat, well, a waistcoat over a shirt kind of thing. Especially considering he's wielding a rocket launcher one-handed and pointing with his close combat weapon with the other. Okay, so that's Phoenix done, so we'll put him aside as well. And now we're finally on to the Myrmidon officer. Okay, so body sculpt. Unlike the other Myrmidon, she's not wearing a helmet, probably just so you can keep her clear who she is. It's a nice looking face sculpt, not quite as good as Phoenix, etc., but you know, she is a supporting character. It actually looks like she's got half a helmet on, so I'll see how it looks once that's painted up. There we go. In this kit, though, you get a choice between a boarding shotgun or a combi rifle. Because it was only one set of weapon arms of this, I believe the second close combat weapon we saw in the Myrmidon box is for her. I'll probably run her with the boarding shotgun purely because of the Eclipse grenades. And then last but not least, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Ajax the Great. So here's the first part, and you will see just how incredibly bulky Ajax is. This is just his legs. He's huge, fitting for his Silhouette 5 size. He's got an interesting face sculpt, roaring in defiance and anger and his war cry, etc. The bald head isn't sculpted at all, so it might be good to try some stubble effects there. There's another clear thing, and then his huge hammer. This is probably taller than Fusiliers and Myrmidons are. And then we just got the bits box for Ajax for his arms and his back. So we've got his other arm, which, unlike Achilles from last week's video, he doesn't have sculpted on details, so that's going to be some freehand work. On this arm there is, however. Let's focus that up. Yeah. And then there's his massive backpack. So that's it for the unboxing part of this video. I'll get back to you once these are all built. And here we are, after a very short break for you, but slightly longer for me. We have the finished built components of the 300-point Steel Phalanx box. To put this together took me about an hour and a half altogether, and that included the cleaning up of mould lines, etc., and clipping down details that needed, well, flash that need to be clipped off. So we'll start with, what's her name? The Amazon Warriors, because I'm not completely sure how to actually spell her name. I think this is most likely my favourite model in the set, just because she looks exceptionally cool. And it's a nice pose as well. Afterwards I didn't need any pinning because I didn't realise that this leg doubled as a third stand to hold it in place. However, typical of Corvus Belli, there's also a gap just there where the grip is, so that will have to be some green stuff patch up. But all in all, happy with that model. Then we're on to Phoenix. Phoenix is a very cool looking kind of Chuck Norris, but he's also got some breads, so he's also a little Native American as well. All in all, very cool model again, and I like his pose with the heavy rocket launcher. Then on to the man, the myth, the legend, Ajax. He is beastly. He's huge. There's a tiny gap in his waist that needs to be filled in, but that's purely just down to, on the inside of his body, there was a peg to plug in, and on the inside of the hole to put the peg into, there's a little bit of metal that I just couldn't file down, so there's a tiny gap despite all my work trying to get it out. There was a mould line going down. Let's see if we can get some focusing. There was a mould line going down Ajax's head and onto his shoulder, but that filed out exceptionally quickly. He's a very beastly looking model that commands a lot of presence, and he will be a fire magnet on the field. Then we'll move on to the Marksman with his MSV2 visor. If we can get the focus going. There we go. He's another good looking model. I like the pose. Wish rule wise he just had some sort of camo, even if he put his points up a little bit just to give him mimetism or something. But he's definitely an active turn hunter. So there we go. And now on to the Myrmidon Officer, which I have built with the boarding shotgun. I really like this pose. She's really cool. Not sure about the sword because she's gripping, the bottom of the blade. I don't know if you can see this. She's gripping the bottom of the blade with her hand like so, as opposed to the hilt. But it's a cool looking pose, and she does stand out when put up against the other Myrmidons. Like I said, on the side of her face there is actually part of the helmet. So yeah. And then on to the Myrmidons themselves, which are the 5 group there, even though they can only go in fire teams of, 3 plus a character. So we'll start with the Spitfire, because he's the more unique one. Let's see, come on, focus. There we go. So the Spitfire pose, really cool again, stands out in the squad, even if the Spitfire does look very similar to things like boarding shotguns. But again, you can also use that to an advantage to proxy. The Rock also helps stand out. There we go. He's a cool model though. He'll hold washes exceptionally well, all the detail on the chest, the visor, etc. The chain rifle Myrmidon, not sure how I feel about this pose. He's kind of drawing his sword, but at the same time going for a mid-body swing. But it still looks good, and it just lets you have unique looking Myrmidons so they don't look all exactly the same. Then the boarding shotgun Myrmidon. The boarding shotgun Myrmidon and the combi rifle, which you'll see very shortly, look very similar. So here's the boarding shotgun Myrmidon, who again will hold details and washes, etc. extremely well. Here's the combi rifle. Myrmidon, as you can see, looks extremely similar to the boarding shotgun ones, but it's taking more of an active position, therefore I've just had his head aim a little bit. But again, it's another good looking model, and they all look truly unique. And then there's finally what I call the Witcher Myrmidon, purely because of the sword pose is very similar to how you parry in the Witcher series of games, especially Witcher 3. But again, it's another unique pose. I prefer this over I'm cutting my stomach open chain rifle Myrmidon. The only thing I don't like about the Myrmidons is this little bundle of string or data tethers or something at the back of the head. I'm thinking about clipping those off just to get a more rounded head appearance. But yeah, so final thoughts on this box. At RRP, you save at about 20 quid over the buying them individually, so that's always good. And if you're interested in Steel Phalanx, definitely go with this box because you will use Myrmidons, the officers, and it gives you characters to play with. If you're interested in Aleph, maybe give this box a miss, but at the same time, you can use the Myrmidons, the Marksmen, etc., just to build upon a Aleph starter set. But this is definitely, well, as you can guess, aimed at the Aleph, the Steel Phalanx players. Where to go from here? I definitely recommend getting a Steel Phalanx starter set, just so you can get all your Myrmidon options, as well as another character and some Phoractes, which are a great medium infantry to support the Myrmidons. I'd also recommend getting a big named character, either Achilles or Hector. Personally, I've gone for Achilles, but the more I'm looking at it, the more I actually prefer Hector, though there's nothing stopping you having both of them, of course. So yeah, this has been That Welsh Nerd, and I will see you in the next one.